Welcome. Enforcement Directory ED, they're looking into Christian linked NGOs in Naxal pro areas, Naxal affected areas. Of course, ED is probing all financial transactions across the country in all the sectors and all the sections wherever the misuse of the funds. Basically, this is work of the ED and they're doing it. There's nothing wrong in that, but here the sensitive topic is that they're investigating Naxal area or Naxal hit areas where Christian NGOs are working there. That's actually a politically sensitive topic here because there will be a misunderstanding that the Christians may get hurt, Christian NGOs may get hurt. Are we promoting Naxalism? Why they are probing us? If it is a general financial probe, that's okay. But specifically probing the tribal areas where the government is not reaching out. The government is not reaching out, right? Whatever the areas where the government is not reaching out, there the Christian NGOs already reached and they're serving the tribals where the presence of the government is not existing there. Then the targeting with the EDs, definitely it will be a concern for the Christian organizations, NGOs. Now, mainly the argument of the ED and the government is that they are scrutinizing FCRA norms. All the NGOs, including Christian NGOs organizations, they receive foreign fund. So the donations, they're saying that they're just checking whether funds are being utilized properly or not, whether they're using the funds or not. So that's what actually the argument of the ED. And also they're saying that we are scrutinizing concerns in Naxal areas. Like, the Naxalite Maoist insurgency, they are more, they treated, high risk zones. They generally suspect every work. In the Naxal pro area, they suspect everybody, including Christian organizations, tribal units, whomever they find that they suspect. They check if maybe any organized network, including religion, activist NGOs, they also can be misutilized or misused for indirect support. If some people may intentionally support, some people unintentionally they may support the Naxalism and all. That is the main argument of the government. ED is arguing that why we are probing the Christian NGOs in the Naxal areas, because we want to check all these links, alleged links. Sometimes cases are opened based on intelligence inputs. We don't know whether the ED might have got some intelligence input that the Christian NGOs are being used for Naxal funding. Then what is the use or what is the urgency that the ED is specifically focusing on Christian NGOs working in the tribal areas where the Naxals are more? So definitely, if that is the argument of the government, the social activists, Christian organizations, NGOs, they are arguing that we the missionaries or Christian missions and NGOs are mostly providing education, healthcare and tribal welfare, where the state government or the central government presence is weak there. Wherever there is state government and central government is unable to reach out, there we are reaching out with our fund. We are helping them education and healthcare. Then why are you targeting us? This is the major argument by the Christian organizations and NGOs. There's equating such work with extremism is unfair and damaging. You are damaging the reputation of the Christian organizations because you are linking with the Naxalism and then doing the research. Some people are saying that this part of a broader pattern under Narendra Modi's government where they're tightening the NGOs via FCRA, targeting minority-run institutions and then shrinking space for independent civil society. So this is how the government is moving and they're releasing that. But exactly, both the sides there are arguments. Basically, we need to understand that all Christian NGOs are not anti-national, and all probes are not for harassment or whatever. So there will be an argument from the governments and there will be argument from the NGOs both. But most Christian groups in tribal areas, indeed, actually, they do very good work. The welfare work they do, they engage in education, health for all these tribal areas, and they provide. The government operates for security first lens in insurgency zones, of course. Whatever the government, what the government is thinking that nobody knows whether their security paranoia is in conflict zones might be in their mind, and maybe the control over foreign funding networks, they wanted to maybe take care of the foreign fund network. Political ideology and distrust on the missionaries activity in tribal belts, that's another case. And or maybe in the name of ED probing and all that, what these people are doing, the Christian NGOs in the different tribal areas. So they want to regulate narratives and grassroots mobilization, that we don't know. But whatever, the fundamental fact is that the ED focusing on the Christian NGOs who are working in Naxalite areas, that is a sensation news now today. Many grassroots Christian NGOs, they have done meaningful welfare work. But why the government wanted to overgeneralize it? Treating multiple NGOs or suspects simply because they work in sensitive areas like high-risk zones. Because they are working in tribal areas, why do you suspect Christian organizations who work on the education and all? Moreover, the Christianity is some like a non-violence kind of thing. That why do they promote violence? Because the fundamentally the Christians are non-violent. Then why those security threats? In the name of security threats, the ED is focusing on this. That we don't know. Selective enforcement concerns is another issue. That consistency, neutrality in attacking the Christianity and their mission work, they're suspecting. So here, frequent raids, license cancellations, prolonged investigations, even all this looks like, all this, it reflects that targeted focus on the Christian institutions and not only the tribal areas and wherever, especially under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji, there has been visible tightening of NGOs regulations. Okay, regulations is not a wrong thing. It is not a bad idea, regulation, but specifically it is looking like the targeting. Basically, in the tribal areas, these Christian organizations, they run schools, hostels, literary programs, which the government is not doing there in those areas. So these people are doing, they're providing a basic healthcare, nutrition, emergency support they're giving in remote areas, because there will be no government ambulances available in the remote there, and the Christian missionaries are running that. And they work with the marginalized communities, because they are treated as Panchama, Avarna, whatever it may be outside the society, and then without any caste bias and all that, these Christians are working there with the non-violence kind of work and service work and dignity, and of course, along with that, they spread their religion also, obviously, because without spreading the religion, they don't do all these things. But they have the fundamental right, because Article 25, they provided right to preach and practice their religion. Whatever the core tension is today, that the security and the civil society freedom and regulation versus overreach and suspicion versus trust, and that the arguments are going on the social media that some people are supporting ED and some people are supporting NGOs. So that is the news today. Thank you. Namaskar.